So a couple more examples where I am factorizing by grouping. All right. So as I said, when we see four terms and we're asked to factorize, our heads should immediately go to grouping. Okay. It is possible that they will all have something in common and you'll factorize that way. But when there's four, it's far, far more common. Almost always you'll be grouping them into two twos. All right. So I've got my 2 there, and I've got my 2 there. All right, so 2ax minus 2bx. Is there something common to them? Yes, they both have 2 and they both have x. So I'll be able to factorize something out of the two of those. Here then, minus ay plus by. Yes, they've got y in common. All right. Now, there is something here in this one which can trip you up. All right, that's why I've left this one maybe to a separate video. So I'm initially going to do it wrong, and then we'll kind of see why I'm wrong, and I'll go back and do it correctly. So 2ax minus 2bx. So I can factorize, as I said, 2x out. If you factorize 2x out, you need to divide by 2x. So 2ax divided by 2x minus 2bx divided by 2x. And then what do ay and by have in common? They've got y in common. So what you might do is you might go y, and then that's minus ay divided by y. And then this one here is plus by divided by y. Let's do my division then. So this one here, 2ax divided by 2x, 2 divided by 2 cancels, x divided by x cancels, you're just left with a. Minus 2bx divided by 2x, so 2 divided by 2 cancels, x divided by x cancels, you're just left with b. Plus y. Now, here's where we're going to run into a bit of trouble. Minus ay divided by y. Y divided by y cancels, so I'm just left with minus a. By divided by y and y cancels, so you're just left with b. Now, I've said before, our check here is that you've got the same thing in both brackets. Do I have the same thing in both brackets? Almost, but not quite. Okay? Plus a there, minus a there. So that is different. Minus b there, plus b there. Again, that is different. Okay? Now, I'm not too far off. I've got the correct letters. It's just the signs are wrong. So what should I have done? My mistake was back here. I shouldn't have factorized plus y out and then divided by plus y. I should have factorized a minus y out. And then I would have been dividing by minus y and dividing by minus y, and that would change those two signs. So that happens a lot when you've got a minus here in the middle. So if you look in these things, you've got 1, 2, 3 signs. So before that second group, if you've got a minus, it is quite often a minus number that you're factorizing out. Okay, so look, if you get the correct letters but the signs are wrong, even if just one of them is wrong, it's possibly a sign you did this wrong. This is your mistake. All right. It's also a reason why we can't just go. Remember, because we said you should have the same thing in both brackets. It's a reason why we don't just go, oh, I got a minus b there, I'll shove a minus b in there because I know I should get the same thing about brackets. You should factorize both of them to check that you've done it right. Okay, because the other bracket could be wrong as well. Okay, so you do actually factorize both of them. Okay, so to do this correct then, so look, I'll do that in full. This though is going to be the same. Okay, so 2x. There was no problem with the first bracket. So that's going to be 2x on a minus b. The mistake was here. Okay, so I should have factorized minus a out. Okay, because I know I want a plus a in my answer. So, or minus y, sorry. So minus y factorized out. because you're factorising minus y out, you divide both by minus y. So it's going to be minus ay divided by minus y plus by divided by minus y. So minus y bracket minus ay divided by minus y. Y divided by y cancels. A minus divided by a minus, a negative divided by a negative is a positive. So you're just left with plus a, or a. Plus by divided by minus y. So it is a positive divided by a negative. So your answer will be negative. Y divided by y cancels and you're just left with b. Have I got the same thing in both brackets? Yes, I have. I've got a minus b in both brackets. So now my next step is to just factorise that a minus b out. And when I factorise the a minus b and the a minus b out, what am I left with? A 2x and a minus y. And there's your answer, okay? That's it done. If you're just asked to factorise, that's it done. If you're asked to check your answer, to multiply it out to check your answer, do that, okay? So this is the answer to factorising it. If I want to check that answer, a multiplied by x is 2ax. A multiplied by minus y is minus ay. Minus b multiplied by 2x minus 2bx. Minus b by minus y. Minus by a minus is a plus. B by y is by. So 2ax minus ay minus 2bx plus by. Yes, I got it correct. Okay, so again, that's not part of your factorising. That's me checking my answer. That's the answer to the factorising part. All right, one more example then. So there's a couple of things going on here. So 15as minus 2bt minus 3at plus 10bs. Okay, so what do we want to do? We want to split it up into two groups of two. There's nothing common to all of them. And I've got a minus there, so I need to watch out for that. That could throw up problems for me. So what do? I try and factorise something common out of the first two. 15as minus 2bt. Is there anything common between those? No, there's not. My second pair, minus 3at plus 10bs. Is there anything common between the two of those? No. Okay, so that's an issue I haven't faced before. But if you look, the 15as here and minus 3at, they have a in common. So you could kind of move this around and get two terms with a's in them together. And what about the two terms that are left? Well, I've got a minus 2bt and a plus 10bs. So they've got b in common, and 2 will divide into them as well. And the same, 3 will divide into those as well. But so b will divide into both of these, and 2 will divide into both of these. So I can factorise something out of both of these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reorder my question before I start to factorise it. So put these two with the a's together. So 15as minus 3at minus 2bt plus 10bs. Okay. So all you're doing here is you're moving stuff, you're moving addition and subtraction around. There's no need to change signs here or anything. You only need to change signs if you bring something over an equal sign. I'm not doing it here. Okay. All I'm doing here is it's the equivalent of changing 2 plus 3 to 3 plus 2. Both of those are 5. Okay, so you can't just kind of move numbers around when you're adding and subtracting. So my 15as and my minus 3at, my minus 2bt and my plus 10bs. So I can factorise 3 will divide into both of these and a will divide into both of these. So 3a. We'll skip the division step this time. Actually writing it out, we'll just jump kind of straight to where I have the answer. So 15 divided by 3 is 5. A divided by a cancels, and you're just left with s. Minus 3 divided by 3 cancels, or is 1. You can write the 1 if you want. A divided by A cancels, and you're just left with the t. So you could, as I said, you could write that as 1t if you wanted. Next one, I have a minus here, so I might have to factorize a minus out. 2 divides into both of those, and b divides into both of those. So what would happen if I factorized out minus 2b? Well, minus 2bt divided by minus 2t, minus divided by minus is a positive. I would end up with plus t, whereas I want minus t. And if I factorized minus 2b out of plus 10bs, I would end up with minus 5s, because plus divided by a minus is a minus. So if I take the minus out here, I actually end up with plus t and minus s, which is not what I want. Okay, I want the s to be positive and the t to be negative. So it actually is plus 2b that you take out here. Okay, so that is true. As I said to you, when there's a minus in the middle, it is often the minus letter and maybe number that you take out, but not always. Okay, in this case, it's the plus 2b that I need to factorize out to get the same thing in both brackets. So you need to get the same thing in both brackets, so that's what you're aiming for. Anyway, minus 2 divided by plus 2 is going to be, minus. B divided by b cancels, so I'm just left with t. So minus t there, minus t there. Plus 10 divided by plus 2 is plus 5. B divided by b cancels, and I'm just left with that s. So I know these are in a different order, but 5s minus t and minus t plus 5s is the same thing. Okay, so you're going to factorize that out. You can write it either way, the way it appears here or the way it appears here. So I'm going to factorize the 5s minus t out, and I'm left then with 3a plus 2b. Okay, and if you were to multiply that out, you would get back to there. So 5s by 3a is 15as, etc. I would get the other three terms as well. Okay, so a couple of tricky things on that one. First, that we had to reorder it, and second then that it wasn't a minus number that we factorized out of the middle. As I said, if you had to factorize the minus one out, you would have got plus t and minus 5s. At that point you should realize you're wrong, scribble it out and go back to here and factorize it out with the correct sign. We could have got away, we could have moved this around slightly differently. So I could have moved the plus 10bs to here and had plus 10bs minus 2bt, and that would have kind of got me out of the problem there. Is there any other way I could answer that question? Yes, there is. Okay, so I found that they had 3a in common, so I grouped them together. You could also say that 5s divides into both of them, so you could have grouped them together at the start, and then the other two, well, they've got t in common, so you could have grouped the two of those together and factorized the t out. You would have got the same answer in the end. Okay, so there's a couple of different ways of grouping that one, but any way you do it, you should get that as your final answer. If you ever want to check your final answer, just multiply it out like I did.